Everybody, this is Tanya Parr, and welcome to week 1 of basic training. We have been looking forward to this, and we cannot wait to share with you over the next 3 weeks for basic training. And then we have a bonus training coming up on just that, about the bonus and silver, on how to get to silver. So it'll be a silver training on week 1. Look at that. AdvoCare is the average person's best opportunity to make the most of life's dreams. Through this course of basic training, we want to help you make the most of the dreams that you have. But first, let's talk about, who are you? AdvoCare has 4 different relationships. There on the screen, you see a retail customer, a wholesale customer, a business builder who wants to fund their 4G network, and then a business builder who would like to earn $1,000 per month or more. Now, when we are going through the next few weeks of basic training, we are talking about the 3rd and the 4th relationships, business builders. So we want to break that down for you. And Benji Parr, my husband, is on the phone with us, and we're going to talk about which business builder are you, to identify what you're looking for as we go through basic training. Benji, we've got the 4G network up on the screen. Will you share with them about that and help them identify if that's them?
Well, I like this. I like this 4G network because it allows people to break down number 3 and number 4. I mean, less than $1,000 a month or more than $1,000 a month. I like this because you can see if you can build an AdvoCare business about up to $1,000 a month, and you could take care of your gas, your groceries, your games, and your gifts. Everybody's dealing with that. Gas prices, everybody's got to use it. Groceries, everybody uses it. Games, your kids play travel ball. They play sports. You want to play sports. And then also, we just came through Christmas. You can pay for your gifts. We got graduation gifts. We got birthday gifts. So if you could build AdvoCare to where it took care of those 4 items, and you didn't have to take that out of your budget, what would that feel like? So that's number 3. We love that. Love that, being able to fund that 4G network.
And you know, Benji, when you and I first got started, we quickly went from being a retail customer to being a wholesale customer to looking at the 4G business builder, because that was going to alleviate stress for us. But you and I saw very soon after that, because of AdvoCare's products, because of the opportunity that AdvoCare has, we also looked very quickly at the business builder that's on the screen now, the person who's looking to build through the AdvoCare PIN levels, which means getting raises. Will you just hit on some of this and what someone can look at if this is their business builder goal?
Well, here's what I always thought about. The 4G network is people who love products and want to share it with a few people. So it allows them to earn, up to $1,000 a month. I mean, mentally, for me, it was, if I share it with a few people, we're making about $1,000 a month. How do I get to, like you can see here, let's just say 3-star gold. How do I get to $40,000 a year, which is over $3,000 a month? It's just a mindset change of, if I share it with a few, what if I share it with more? So to move up to 3-star gold, you just share it with more. And what happens is you're not just sharing then yourself. You're going to have a few people who started using product with you who say, hey, I would love to share this too. And then you help them share products with other people. And ultimately, you think, look at Emerald. I mean, we got several emeralds on this team, $192,000 a year. So you can kind of pick, and it gives average salaries by career on that. You can kind of see where AdvoCare fits in. But I think the sweet spot of AdvoCare is 3-star gold, because you can build that part-time. Because here's the deal. You don't join AdvoCare, quit your job, and then start building an AdvoCare business. AdvoCare is an as-you-go. So as you go about your normal day, you meet people, you share AdvoCare. You can build at that 3-star gold level and put, what if you had an extra $3,000 a month in your budget? $3,000 a month because you love people, you help people, and you're showing a few people how to do the same thing. So that's why I want to show those salaries. I mean, here's the deal. You pick where you want to go, and you go where you want to go and pick any.
So here we are. We're looking at a 4G business builder, or a business builder who wants to build through the PIN ranks in AdvoCare and earn the income that you see on that screen. But you want to know, what are the characteristics of a successful business builder? I know back in 1999 when Benji and I were looking at AdvoCare, we were so interested in replacing incomes to having options, having more time, living without debt, freedom with some more income at the end of the month. Instead of the month continued, the income was gone. Characteristics of a successful business builder helped us get our minds around, you know what, we can do this. Sometimes people look at something like AdvoCare and think, well, I've got to have a personality like so-and-so, or a personality like such and such, or I have to go and have this kind of background, or live in this kind of community, or have a degree in such and such. These characteristics of a successful business builder, these can can identify you no matter who you are, no matter what your background. If you fit in, then you can decide whether you want to be a 4G business builder or whether you want to be a business builder building to a more of a significant income. Are you disgusted with your current circumstances? Or do you have a burning desire for change, for those circumstances to change? Do you have a strong work ethic? Are you teachable and coachable? Are you financially motivated? Do you have character and integrity, a now mentality? All of those things, they can be different. You may have a different level of disgust than we had. But when you go past that, when it gets into a burning desire for change, Benji and I had such a burning desire for change for many years, for almost 11 years when we were introduced to AdvoCare, or maybe it was right at 11 years, and we had major disgust. We had major burning desire for change. We just didn't know it was going to come packaged in vitamins and in a nutrition company because that isn't what we had pictured. We had the work ethic. We had those other things. What about you? Anything else, Benji, you want to add on that page before we keep moving?
No, I like it. Matter of fact, it's not just who you are, but this will help lessen your frustrations because as you share AdvoCare, that's also who you're looking for. So you can kind of mentally checklist people that you're looking for. If they don't have those characteristics, there's a good chance they're not going to build an AdvoCare business. It's okay, but it's a good chance it's probably not for them.
Well, and you know, down at the bottom when it says a now mentality, the next screen really identifies why AdvoCare and why now. When we looked at AdvoCare back in 1999, I remember you and I being absolutely so excited that we got to be one of the first to bring it to Georgia, or maybe the first now that we look back on. Why AdvoCare, why now, almost 15 years later? Why is the timing even better? It's not because AdvoCare is saturated by any stretch. In fact, you can come to our small town of Social Circle, Georgia, that has about 3,000 people living in it, and you'll still find people every day that maybe have heard of AdvoCare or not even heard of AdvoCare at all. Why is the timing so incredible? You know what? We are very focused as a country on healthy eating, on exercising. People know that they need that. We now, over the last 20 years, we've come a long way knowing that supplements are necessary because most people are not getting what they need. We have way too much stress. We don't get enough rest. And AdvoCare products provide that solution. Well, the basic law of economics, that supply and demand, says because we have all of that and we are able to offer that, you can earn income because it's what people are looking for. But let's take it another step further. Benji, on the screen, we show the last few years' progression with AdvoCare. With the now mentality in mind, how important is this chart showing where we're since 2010 and where we're projected to go this year in 2014?
I'll tell you, obviously you see the numbers yourself. And here's what it shows me, is AdvoCare has done it right. They've done it right for 20 years. We've been prepared. They have been prepared for this growth for 20 years, and here we are right at the point before the masses know. So if you're listening to this training, you literally look at that and go, what does that mean for me? It means you're in the right place at the right time. If that previous screen, if you've got those characteristics, let me tell you, you've plugged into something to where literally over time you can write your own paycheck. You know, when AdvoCare is growing this fast, it's fun. You plug in, you can go as fast as the company's going. So if it's growing this fast and you plug in, your paycheck can grow that fast also.
Well, let's just bring it into perspective. It's all about timing. It's all about you, and it's all about the timing of AdvoCare. I know this is really your picture, Benji, that you've used all across the country. How critical is it that people wrap their minds around that right now in 2014?
Well, here we're just talking about, I like this screen, is knowing before the masses know. Here's what this means. If you have a sense of urgency and you want to build this, let me tell you, there's some people listening right now to this training who have a burning desire. Right now, they're on fire inside because they're saying, next year is not going to be like the last year. I don't want the next 5 to be like the last 5. I want to plug into something where literally our life can financially change. So that's where you are. If you look back at atomic explosion, we're just talking about that on the previous screen, you're in that very small tube before the masses know, right at the point before we have a total explosion. That's where you are. So we're sitting at it's a perfect time for you. Here's what my mindset for I hope you is you can either tell your friends or your friends are going to tell you. And that's not about fear. That's not about panic. That's not about rush out. That is literally have a sense of urgency, and you tell your friends about it. You're going to be glad you did.
Well, Benji, I love it. One of the things about I've loved AdvoCare since day one is you are in business for yourself but not by yourself. AdvoCare is almost 21 years old. Like you said, they have done it right. There are incredible resources with our AdvoCare microsite, AdvoCare.com. You can log in once you're a distributor. You've got great resources there. There are lots of different things across the country, but what we're going to focus on tonight and through this basic training is we're going to use our own personal team website where we have compiled a lot of different things that we are able to use, our team is able to use, and you're able to plug people into, because this business is all about duplication. So as you are going through basic training, you want to begin to calibrate and think and make a check for yourself every day. Is what I'm doing duplicatable? When we give you the website, it's parteam.com. Across the bottom, you're going to see that there is an introduction to AdvoCare. That's a place that you can take a brand new person to get a bigger picture of AdvoCare, covering from products to opportunity, the relationships, and the timing. So there are great resources there for you to show someone. Get started. Someone says, yes, get started in the business of AdvoCare, or they're curious, how would I get started if I wanted to get started? They can click on that Get Started tab, and they're going to get great resources there. Product 101, that is great product training from someone who's just getting started with the core products to some of the more detailed questions that people have to help them wrap their mind around AdvoCare products, because it's all about duplication. Business 101, on that page you're going to get great business training. And then Leadership 101, that's a place I encourage you to go to every single day to plug in to get great resources from Ron Reynolds, who's our Director of Development at AdvoCare Corporate. He gives us mental vitamins every single day. John Maxwell is on there. There's a book of the month that's on there. There's great resources, because here's the deal. AdvoCare is a leadership model company. We're not just about sales. We're not just about building a team, but we have to model the behavior for other people. So we have to work harder on ourselves than anything else, and that is part of the basic training. So for myself, it's challenging every day to go and plug in to Leadership 101, to go and purchase or download the book of the month, and to be reading that, and to constantly be working on myself first. Now, I want to break down some of these resources a little bit more. The Get Started. We're not going to go through all of the plan of action steps tonight. It doesn't make any sense for us to spend time on that during basic training, because this is a tool that you can use all the time. Benji, how important is that plan of action with Todd Cash on the top of that screen? How many times a week do you think between the two of us we tell people, go to parteam.com, click on Get Started, watch the plan of action?
Well, I was hoping you were going to ask me that. I love this because if you see AdvoCare and you have a plan, then you know what to do. And those 11 minutes, when somebody asks us, tell us what you do. How did you guys do this? Literally every single thing we do is in those 11 minutes. And you'll see a picture of the guy who does that video. That's Todd Cash. That's who literally, when we started AdvoCare, we watched and we modeled. I didn't know him, just watched him from afar. I liked the way he built the company. So he put this video together. These are the steps he used personally with his family, and then he passed it on to his team that allowed them to pay off $80,000 of debt in the first 12 months. And after 4 years, they were making $1 million a year. So that was good enough for me. So we plugged into that. Those are the steps we used that allowed us after 15 months to be making $15,000 a month, after 25 months to be making $25,000 a month. So when somebody says, what do you do? It's easy. Go click on those 11 minutes, and then you'll see right below that how to get to advisor. You can click on that, and literally Denise does an incredible job of showing somebody why and how to get to advisor. So that's a great page that you can go get comfortable with. So when somebody says, hey, I want to do this, what do I do? It isn't necessary always to go send them to those 11 minutes. You watch it yourself, get very comfortable with those steps. So when somebody asks you, you can literally lay out those steps, but you can also say, listen, if you need a refresher, go to parteam.com, click on Get Started, and you will 11 minutes. Easy, very fast, and very effective. The biggest thing is effective. You listen to it, you put it into action, and it pays you.
You know, Benji, I like to give people a 24-day challenge, not about the products, but I encourage them the first 24 days, or if they're struggling in their business, or they're saying, I'm not very confident on helping someone get started, I give them a 24-day challenge. Watch the plan of action for 24 days in a row. Put it on your cell phone as you're riding down the road. Turn your speaker on and listen to it. While you're putting your makeup on in the morning, put it on your iPad. Sit at your computer and put it on every single day, and you will be shocked at how quickly you are duplicating what is on that page. But a lot of people not only have business questions, they have product questions. And they say, you know what, I'm not really sure what to say to a new person. I'm not really confident on the products yet. Well, one of the most important things is that you want to involve your sponsor in that process, which we're going to go into more as we go through basic training, but also go and do the 24-day challenge on the top sellers, the Product 101. Anna Smith, one of the top distributors in the state of, oh my word, that is a brief training on the top sellers, and it will give you words to say. It'll wrap your mind around it. And when you get that comfort, you're also going to get confidence. So be sure that you spend some time on Product 101. Now, we've got some of the resources out of the way. You've identified who you are, what you want to do. Whatever level of business builder you want to be, the basics are the same. And most importantly, before you even get to the basics and the fundamentals, you have to start with the mindset that you have in AdvoCare. ChooseAChallenge.com just came up. I apologize that I missed that slide. That is another resource that is all about products, and we're going to teach you about that as well. But let's dig in and let's delve in to the proper mindset to build a business. When we were looking at AdvoCare, we knew we had all those characteristics, but then there was one thing that we weren't really sure about, and that was our confidence level, the fear factor, the fear of success, the fear of failure, the unknown that we were stepping into. This developing the proper mindset helped us get started, move quickly, and we've never had to turn back. So, Benji, let's walk through this mindset screen about developing your purpose and reason, about beliefs and all of that. Will you help me go through that, please?
You know, I like the first sentence you got there. AdvoCare is built from the chin up, because all we do here is take products, we talk to people, and we follow up. That's all we do. So what separates the ones from the, you know, the ones who do and the ones who don't? If it's take products, talk to people, follow up, can everybody take products if they choose to? Yes. Can everybody talk to people if they choose to? Yes. Can everybody follow up with people if they choose to? Yes. So everybody can do that. So here's the separator. If you don't get anything out of this basic training, if you just will get this down, this will take care of so many problems, is define your reason. Because when you know why you're doing AdvoCare, the how will take care of itself. It's going to be take products, talk to people, follow up. You'll get better at that. But I encourage you, spend time on developing your purpose and reason. Personally, I'll just tell you mine, so maybe it'll help you, is when we got started, I had a 5- and a 3-year-old at home. I had a wife at home. I didn't get to see my kids. I didn't get to see my family. I was sick and tired of not seeing them. Sick and tired of 15 years of pharmaceuticals. Nothing had changed. Next 15 years, my kids are just going to be 15 years older. They're going to be out of the house. I was going to miss everything. So you want to talk about easy to define a purpose? My purpose was easy. I put a picture of my kids on my computer, and I put a picture of my wife on my desk beside it, and any time I ever felt frustrated, all I had to do was look at those pictures, and it kept me going because that was the reason I was doing this. So for your own self, ask yourself, where are you now? I mean, where are you now the last 5 years? Because let me tell you, if something does not change, there's a strong possibility the next 5 is going to be basically the same. And that's what's going to get somebody up and say, I'm doing this. I'm adding this to my life. Physically, where are you? That's easy. You know, we're not even going to talk about that. As Tanya, we're talking about this is about business builders. I encourage you, take the products, take them correctly, build a story. But financially, where are you? Where you want to be? Where do you want to be? You know, it says, where will you be in 3 to 5 years if nothing changes? Next one is, where would you like to be in 3 to 5 years if you could change something? And that last sentence, I love it. Without strong purpose and reason, you'll get nowhere. So important. Define your purpose. If you don't quite understand what that is, talk to the person who invited you on this training and talk through that. That's how important it is.
Well, you know, Benji, we have to go beyond developing our purpose, and getting that set is so key. It's going to be the cornerstone of your business, without a doubt. But let's take it a step further. Let's begin to set goals and begin to really identify what is it that your goal is here at AdvoCare. And it may be a long-range goal, but then you want to break it down into bite-sized pieces from there. What do you want? Like, really, what do you want? If AdvoCare could be anything in the world that you dreamed of, what would you want it to be? And you know what I want to tell you is that can change. At the beginning, I could only see what I could see, which was, then I began to think, you know what, I love these products. Maybe I could have 5 or 6 customers to pay for our own products. And then I got to see a bigger picture and a bigger picture. One of the things that where you are right now in 2014 is you turn on the television and you watch a anything on ESPN, just about, you're going to see an AdvoCare commercial. You're going to see us represented on national television. You're going to hear about us on a much more national stage. So what you're thinking with AdvoCare, don't just limit it to something small. Why not think about something big, that goal down in your heart, that dream down in your heart that you have always wanted? For Benji and me, from the moment we dated, when we were first beginning to talk about getting married, we had the dream of working together. Well, you know what? We thought that was kind of a silly dream as we were going through our 20s because it was not working out for us. That's a dream that we had put back in the cabinet of our mind and said, you know what? We're going to not even think about that anymore. AdvoCare let us pull that dream back out and set a goal of what we eventually wanted. But then there was another goal, which is when do you want it? For Benji and I, we wanted to compress about 30 years of his life into a couple of years. In fact, we said, we're going to work AdvoCare very concentrated, very intentional for 2 years. You know, there are a lot of people that will get started in AdvoCare and they can't discipline themselves to work for 2 weeks or 2 months, much less think about 2 years. You are looking at a business that works, a business model that's been proven for the last 20 years. What do you want, and then when do you want it? If you want it to go quickly, guess what? We know how to help you. AdvoCare knows how to help you. And the pace of the company, like Benji showed you on that screen earlier, we are growing so fast that you get to go behind and you get to really pace with the company. They're the pace car. It's incredible. But when do you want it? When do you want to be home with your children? When do you want to be all the way out of debt? When do you want to be able to take that family vacation you never thought you would even dream about taking? I don't know what your goal is. What do you want? When do you want it? Most importantly, what are you willing to exchange to get it? AdvoCare, for you to add that onto your life, especially to do it as a business builder, not at the 4G level. It doesn't take as many exchanges at the 4G level. And hey, because remember, it's about you, what you want and when you want it. For us, Benji and I exchanged something very, very simple. Maybe some of you listening in and watching are going to say, that's not simple, Tanya. But for us, it really was simple. We did one thing. We turned off the black box that was in our living room. In fact, we had just moved in our house, and to be completely honest, we never even turned it on. It wasn't that we turned it off. And that was something that we were willing to do. Maybe it's that you say from 7 to 9:30, these 2 nights a week, I'm not going to watch my television program. You know what's really cool about 2014? You can DVR it, and you can watch it late at night when there's nobody else to call. So there's a lot of options. But what is your exchange system? You cannot have a full plate of life like you've just gone through the cafeteria and piled it up. You can't have that kind of plate of life and add AdvoCare in. You have to clear some things off if you're wanting to do this at a high level so that you can get what you want to. Goals must be written down. Make them measurable. Make them definable. Set them within the time frame. Those are very important things as you're setting goals and as you are moving your business forward. And then from there, it gets really simple. AdvoCare, once you get the mindset, once you figure out what you want, once you figure out your goals, the rest of it is some very basic fundamentals. It's not hard. Benji and I both come from families where our fathers were in construction. We watched physically hard. We watched mentally hard because they owned their own company and they had all the responsibility. So to be completely honest with you, when we started AdvoCare, we didn't look at it as hard from that perspective because we had seen that physical mental thing with our fathers. The fundamentals of AdvoCare, it's 3 things. Benji laid it out for them because when you see that it's 3 things, it takes it from being so challenging to go, okay, this is really simple and straightforward.
Well, we talked about this earlier, so I don't want to go back over it, but let me stress number 1. Use the products correctly every day. AdvoCare is a product-driven company. That being the case, the most important thing you're going to carry around with you is your story, is your product story. Let me tell you, work hard on creating a product. So when I say very hard, all I mean is take products correctly. Let me tell you, I've worked with some people who say their business is struggling and they cannot figure out why they can't find product users or people who want to do this. And I always say, tell me your product story. Talk about your product usage. Well, come to find out, they've got white packs left at the end of the metabolic nutrition box. They don't take all the packs. They don't take catalysts every day. They'll skip the meal replacement sometimes. Let me tell you, that will affect your business because we're a product-driven company. So I encourage you, use the products correctly every day. It seems simple. And understand this, you're going to sell what you take. So if you want to sell more, just take more products because if you got personal use, you're going to have personal information. You're going to have a personal story. People are going to buy. They're going to buy you. They're going to buy your story. So if you haven't worked on your story yet, let me encourage you, stop building an AdvoCare business right now. If you can't figure out how to take products correctly, stop telling anybody about it until you figure it out, because it's not fair to the people you're sharing it with. If it's that good, then use the products every day. And so use the products, talk to people, follow up. That's all we do.
Well, let's break it down even further. This is actually from AdvoCare. It's in our microsites. Brilliant in the basics. Over basic training, we're going to be bringing some of these slides in and going over some of the fundamentals of AdvoCare. Benji just talked about it, using the products. Why is it so important? Why would you be so strong and so passionate that if you're not taking products correctly and you're not getting product results, then you got to put the brakes on. You got to figure that part out first. You know why? Number one, it provides your confidence. People say, well, why isn't anybody listening to me? Sometimes it's that there's no product confidence because people are not choosing to take their products correctly, or they have to make some adjustments. It also provides your competence. It provides your credibility. If you are walking around with a soda in your hand, and then on some days, and then other days you're telling them, oh, Spark is amazing, people are thinking, okay, whatever, that's inconsistent, and that's not really very credible to me. Also, if your body is not changing, and I'm not saying that you have to look like a supermodel or look like you've been airbrushed, but be the best that you can be, that all people wonder. So provides confidence, provides competence, provides credibility, and that is the context for your conversations, which is what we're going to talk about in week 2 of basic training. So that is so important when it comes to using AdvoCare products. 5 reasons AdvoCare products don't work. I just want to hit these real quickly. Number one, they're not taken correctly. I can't tell you how many people after 14 years here have come back and said, I'm sorry, I really didn't take my products right. I would have lots of white packets, the ones that you take after breakfast or lunch. I had lots of those in my box, or I only took it every other day, or I would take it sometimes and not take it other times. It's got to be taken correctly. The second reason, not taken long enough. We do like to encourage people to start with a 24-day challenge, but come on, we all know that it's unrealistic that we're going to make major body changes that unless you've just got a little bit of weight to lose or you're expecting just you don't have a whole lot to happen, you got to take it long enough. Number 3, you've got to be hydrated. Number 4, moving waste. And number 5, sometimes people have underlying medical or they take medications that makes losing weight or just feeling better a little bit more of a struggle. But I wanted to give those to you because if it's calibrating where you are with your product results, look at it for you. Most importantly, after that, is to keep that checklist, so as you are following up with people, which you'll learn about in basic training, you want to run through that list with people. Now, speaking of people, number 2 is talking to people. Who are you going to talk to? Benji, I know sometimes people want to jump out and go to cold market, and I will never understand that. I know you'll never understand it, because as great as we felt the very first week that we started on AdvoCare, we never thought about walking into a business somewhere or going out and doing a booth somewhere to get started. We couldn't wait to pick up the phone to call our friends and family. Will you walk them through these close relationships and relationships in general and the importance of going to your natural market?
Well, this is an easy stage. I think for anybody, if you're using products and you feel great, go to the people that you care about the most first. AdvoCare is a relationship business. Important to remember, we're a relationship business. So if you're out in the marketplace and you want to go talk to everybody you don't know, I've never understood that at first. Of course, if you're out and somebody says, hey, I'm tired, and you have a conversation with them, that's great. But I encourage you, those who move the fastest go to the ones that they care about the most. They take it to their friends and their family. And if somebody says, well, I don't really want to go to my friends and family, all that tells me is they don't believe in AdvoCare yet. And until you do, a lot of times that's because they haven't got the product results because they're not taking products correctly. So easy screen. If you want to go fast, talk to the people that you know that trust you and care about you first. Easy.
Well, you know, Benji, I'm going to take it a little step further. We've got your who do you know, your natural market, always be asking that. And then personal observation, pay attention. You really covered that by saying if you're out and about and somebody says something, you definitely want to bring it up. But I want everyone that's doing basic training to spend the next week making sure that you have your warm market list written down. On that T-graph, you see products on the left, business on the right. That's a good way to kind of mentally separate your list. 10 people you know who need weight loss, 10 people you know who need energy, 10 people you know who are working out. And then on the other side, 10 people you know who are working second jobs or overtime, and then 10 people you'd love to work with. Some people call that a champion list, but for me it was a little easier to wrap my mind around. Those are the people that if they chose to do AdvoCare, I would love to do and work the business of AdvoCare with them. But here's what I want you to remember. Do not prejudge anyone. You may be talking to somebody over on the weight loss side. They may be working 2 jobs in overtime and be looking for the business side, and you don't even know it. At the bottom, you see the image. It says Choose Your Relationship. On the website, choosethechallenge.com, when you're walking someone through AdvoCare, you're going to see Choose Your Relationship. That gives people the options, and it is important to lay those options out there for everyone so that they get to make the choice. Now, at the bottom, the warm market list that you see, some people say, well, I don't know if I know enough people. I have never once in all the years of doing this had someone not come back and have a lot of names on the list. If you will go to our team website at parteam.com, click on Resources, scroll down, look for Warm Market List, print it. It is a brain tickler. It will help you think of different people so that you can start writing names down so that you will have people to go and talk to. Well, let's walk from there, and let's talk about, okay, so you've got the names on the list. Let's kind of double-check which names we put on there, because let me tell you what I did back in the beginning. I went to everybody that I thought needed AdvoCare. I thought people who, had, like, health issues and things like that. Well, I realized real quickly that is not who I was looking for. So I had to back up, and we have learned that those most likely to be product users are these people. They have these characteristics. They're attentive to their health already. They're taking steps to improve their health, willing to enter a process for change, looking for lifestyle, not magic, willing to purchase products, willing to learn to use it correctly. When I'm out and about or if I'm with friends, I'm looking for my friend who is sitting there making the best food choices as possible over lunch. They're the people that when I talk to them, they're like, oh, my gosh, I've got to go. I'm about to walk into the gym and work out. I know those people are attentive to their health and they're wanting to make better choices. So those are things that you want to look for in your product users. Also on the business side, the same characteristics that you have, you want to have with your business builders. So what you're calibrating yourself with, you want to have in mind as you're making your business list. Just like on the product side, sometimes we can look for the person that we think needs AdvoCare or we think has lots of free time. Just because they have desire and disgust, sometimes they don't have the other characteristics to make this as a business. Introduce them to products, and sometimes that's not even a fit for them. We're not about making choices, convincing, talking people into, any of those things. We lay options. We lay out the products. We lay out the business, let people make a decision, and then those characteristics can help you as you go through that list. Well, what do you say? Benji, I know for you and I, we have very different personalities. So let's walk through this what do you say page as people are beginning to share AdvoCare and taking that big step when they're walking out to those names of people that they know on their list.
I'll tell you, here's what was easy for me, is I had to realize AdvoCare provides solutions. So we provide solutions in the marketplace. We provide solutions for health and finances. Let me tell you, that's great because every single person you know at some point will deal with health and finances. So my mindset was, I don't talk a lot. I'm not shy, but I'm very quiet. So I try to listen a lot. And the whole time I'm listening for a problem. And if I find a problem that deals with health or finances, then that's easy because you can say, hey, if I can show you something that would fix that, are you interested in this? I can show you, hey, you said you want to lose 25 pounds. If I can help you do that, are you interested? So I'm always listening. In your mind, if you can think, we provide solutions. And so before you ever speak is find a problem. So if you find a problem, it's easy to share AdvoCare. I like that. And, I have to work on, I have to be honest with you, I have to work on number 2, always smile. I don't always smile. And I really do try to work on that because I think it's important. People are attracted to that. And, be genuine, polite, identify a point of connection, be enthusiastic. Let me tell you, be enthusiastic doesn't mean you have to talk a lot. It doesn't mean that you've got to be the one and that's not a bad thing if you are. But I'm saying you don't have to be. Any personality can build AdvoCare. If you can provide solutions, then you can build this company.
Well, let's walk it through another step past that. That gives you a lot of the basic things, but let's take it to, okay, what do I say exactly? one of the things that you want to be sure is that you are listening and that what you are responding with and what you're saying is not just something that is canned, but that it's something that is applying to the person that you're talking to. So here's how you break your product story down. Where I was, what I saw, what I did, what my results were, other benefits, and then ask a question. Benji, I love the way you tell your story. Will you tell them your product story?
Well, you know what, this is probably, if you're going to build an AdvoCare business, after you define the purpose, after you define the reason, if you can get this down, this is so important. And I always ask people, would you be attracted to your story? If you heard your story, would you be attracted to it? And I'm telling you, that's something I'll continuously work on. If I heard my story, would I go, man, I really want to be a part of that? So get really good at this. And I always try to connect with people if I'm talking to a guy and he says, man, I need to lose a little bit of, inches around my waist, or I'm working out and I'm trying to eat right, I'm not where I want to be. I always try to identify, hey, man, I know exactly how you feel. I was at the exact same place. I was 32 years old. I was not happy where I was. That's where I was. I tell you what, I started using a few AdvoCare products. I don't get into, I use Catalyst. They don't even know what that is. I started using a few products. I felt incredible. I lost 6 inches in my waist, and I feel better than I remember feeling in my entire life. Is that something you're interested in doing yourself? And always ask the question, is that something you're interested in doing? You're sharing that was, I'm telling you, literally 15 to 30 seconds, and work on it. If you feel uncomfortable with it, let me tell you, here's how you can get comfortable. And I'm telling you, this tore me up for a long time, but it changed our business because it got me comfortable getting out sharing my story. As I got in the mirror, and I literally told myself my story. So when we hang up tonight, go to the mirror and tell yourself your story, and look at yourself and go, if somebody was telling me that story, would I go, heck yes, I'm buying that. Give it to me. I want it right now. And work on that.
Well, it makes great sense. And when you got to ask a question, a second ago, because what I was about to interject was because I thought you were being quiet, which is what you are so great at. Once you ask the question, be quiet and let the person answer you. Someone like Benji is good at that. He doesn't feel the need to talk to fill in the dead space. Someone like me, with my personality, when there was that quiet spot, when that question was asked, I would start backpedaling, going, well, if you don't want to do it right now, I was actually taking AdvoCare away from them when all they were doing was kind of thinking through what I just said, and they were beginning to process where they would like to fit in after my story. So get okay with that silent spot. Well, let's move on to the business story. The income story, same thing, where I was, what I saw, how quickly I moved to advisor, my earnings to date, what I see ahead, and then asking a question. That is so important. Just helping someone just this week. Here, I was working a full-time job. I saw an opportunity for me to begin to have more time with my family. Got to a level called advisor in AdvoCare, which got me to a way of getting paid 5 different ways instead of what I was getting paid at work, which was just one. So far, I've made $4,000 since the beginning of last year, but we're excited about 2014 because we're putting more time in this, because by the end of 2014, I would like to be able to work part-time instead of full-time. And I thought about you. Is that something that you'd be interested in too? And then quiet. So whatever your story is, and I was not telling mine, I was actually telling someone else's that just came to my head, but telling your story and then giving them that option. So what do you say, your product story, your income story? One of your basic training assignments is to write it out, rehearse it out loud. I practiced calling in back in 1999. We had an answering machine. So I dialed into the answering machine and I would rehearse my story. One thing that happened to me is if someone got to the end of the conversation and they said, well, you know what, Tanya, I'm so happy for y'all. I hope it goes great for you, whether it was about the products or it was about the business, I knew that I had just done something was not right in that conversation. And that means that I had the focus to my story instead of helping them see what was in it for them. So if that's something that you get back as feedback and they say, oh, I'm happy for you, redirect, listen, and next time practice telling your story again. And I've even gone back to people and said, you know what, I got so excited about what was going on. I really want to know, is there something that I could help you with AdvoCare? Was there something about it that would be a good fit for you and have had people respond? So let's go into the third thing, and we're not going to really go through this tonight. It's all about follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up, and we're going to talk about that more as basic training goes on. If a person is responding about business, you've got key factors to talk about, which we're going to go over in the next couple of weeks. But as you look back with the product users and or about the business, follow-up is about an expectation. If someone ever says, well, you know, they didn't really want me to follow up, I'm thinking, really? We've been doing this almost 15 years, and everyone just expects us to follow up. But you know, once we set up that expectation, you know what, Sarah, my job is to help you get the results that you're looking for. My goal is to help you succeed. So here's the deal. I'm going to call you tomorrow. I have time either around lunchtime. Do you take a lunch break, or would you rather me call you after work? And then it's be quiet, find out, and follow up on day 1, follow up on day 3, follow up on day 7, follow up on day 10, following up through that process. Here's my question to you. Why do all of the work of writing the list, developing your purpose, telling your story, sampling Spark, getting people interested in AdvoCare, and then drop it on the most important step? A lot of times it's because people are nervous when it comes to following up. They're scared. What if they're not getting great results? What if they ask me a question and I don't know the answer? Well, you know what? Part of basic training is I want to take the pressure off of you. Have your sponsor, if you're new, text them, call them, say, can you be ready? I'm going to be doing some follow-up calls tonight. I know the leaders on this team. They're going to be there for you, or they'll give you a time that is appropriate. Then if you run into a question, or better yet, when it's time to celebrate, you're in a perfect spot to set up for a three-way call. With business, yes, sure.
Let me say something. Let me say something about follow-up. Here's something highly important. People are very, very busy. So as we follow up and you follow up with people, keep conversations very short. I mean, very short. A 30-minute follow-up call, 45-minute follow-up call, there's a good chance they're not going to answer your call the next time you call to follow up. Is literally, when I call a follow-up, I'll say, hey, listen, man, you knew I was calling. How you feeling? If they go, man, I'm feeling really good. I'm not eating as much. I feel like my appetite is changing. I got great energy. I'll say that, man, that's awesome. You got any questions? If they go, no, I don't, I'll tell you what, I know you're busy, so appreciate the time. Just want to check with you, and I'm going to call you in a couple of days. And keep it short, because let me tell you, if you'll get off the phone before they want you to get off the phone, they're going to answer your phone the next time you call.
And you know what, Benji, something else to add there that is really important. Y'all write this down. It's very to always ask someone if it's a good time. And if they say, you know what, I'm trying to get the kids to bed, don't say, well, I just wanted to follow up real quick. If they say, I'm trying to get the kids to bed, you say, hey, is it good for me to call you back in about 30 minutes? You want to call me so the phone doesn't ring? Give that person the freedom. It's not about us when we're dialing in. It's about them. And so you want to be sure that you're respectful of that. So that's another thing I wanted to add. With a business responder, we're going to teach you how to talk about those key factors, but that is also a time to include your sponsor. Don't go out and try to be the Lone Ranger. Don't try to do it all on your own when you're getting started. Use third-party credibility because it works. As you're moving through the rest of basic training, everything that you do every single day, the goal is to get people plugged in to that AdvoCare Success System process. And that's what we're really going to focus on over the next couple of weeks, is what is a one-on-one? How do you set it up? The two-on-one and three-way call, a mixer, large event, success goals. We've covered a little bit about follow-up tonight, but we'll get into that over the next couple of weeks as well. So thank you so much for being a part of this first basic training. We are glad that you're here. You're setting up for an incredible, incredible year. Now, here's the deal. This is going to be available. This training is going to be available for 24 hours at parteam.com. Click on the basic training. You can share it with your teams. You can let them be a part, and it's going to be an incredible time for you to learn. Good night, everybody, and God bless.